Welcome everyone. It is 2022. I am re-recording this section of the video that adds action sets to G and G over 2. It was really difficult and had a lack of clarity in doing this in the prior video because a couple reasons. One is I went through it multiple times, as well as the colors on the screen were in that video just tough to see. So I've changed the bolt to red, and let's go add some action sets to G and G over 2. All right. So I guess the first thing I want to highlight is how I have my bolt drawn is an arc that is a 3-point arc that goes from, for instance, the endpoint to endpoint of this line. And then there is this arc, which is a mirror image of this arc. And I've done the exact same thing on the top, right? So there's some kind of 3-point arc drawn in here, and then there is an arc here that is the mirror image of this arc. So make sure that you have those out here as separate arcs. Okay. And let's see, I also, sorry to one more tidbit, this vertical line that's here wants to end at the end point of this 3-point arc. Okay, action sets. So I'm going to use my stretch action, select G, we'll work on that first. I'll work on the upper section of G. And I want my window to go upper left to lower right, and you can see what I'm enclosing. And now I'm going to pick my objects. I'm going to use a crossing to make sure I get the line that's behind my dimension. I'll pick this, pick my vertical line, and I guess I'll use crossing. My horizontal line, my 3-point arc, and I will use a crossing to make sure I get the vertical line that's behind here. I'm not going to choose this arc because it will stay with G over 2 as well as this arc. So I believe that's all I want in my selection set. Press enter, and let's repeat that down below. Stretch parameter, act on this end, create my window, select my objects, and it's much easier on the bottom because there are no dimensions clouding my view. So this vertical, the angled line, this vertical, horizontal, 3-point arc, and this line. I'll press enter, and that should be my G action sets. So we're going to test this just to get a sense of, well, does it work or not? Whenever we're programming, the question is, did I accomplish what I intended to accomplish? So I'm going to select G for a second, change my grip number back to 2 so an end user can see the grips. I hit escape a couple times. And in this block editor tab, once I click on it, has an option far over to the left, the third icon from the left, that says test block, and I'm going to click on that. And I have this red bolt. So now if I click on the bolt, I can see some grips, right? This is an area where it gives me a chance to see how this thing works. So I'm going to drag one of the grips up. And when I do, notice the line extends, the 3-point arc is there, the horizontal line, angled line, and this end. And it goes both directions. Now this G over 2 didn't move at all. But remember, we haven't added the action sets or stretch action for that yet. So I don't need to put this back into place. I'm just going to choose close text block, and let's go work on G over 2. So I need a stretch. I'm going to select my G over 2 parameter. I want to operate on the top half, and my selection set is going to look something like this. So here I want this radius, its mirror image, this line, And I believe that's all. So I'm going to press enter, and I'll repeat that for the bottom half. Stretch G over 2, which end I want to work on, window, and select my objects. Press enter. And here I'd like to test this as well. So I'm going to turn on my grips, hit escape a couple times, and test the block. See what I get. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is move the outer section out of the way. And now let's see what happens if I move this G over 2. Right? It looks like it's behaving as I would like it to. What we're going to do in the next video, let me close this. What we're going to do in the next video, now that we have all of our dimensions connected to a stretch action with action sets, we're going to create these lookup tables so that someone can simply click into the lookup table and select a particular length or size, and the geometry will automatically update. Okay. So one last thing before I close this particular video is I'm going to come back to G over 2. And since I'm done testing it, I'm going to remove the parameters. I'm sorry, the grips. So escape a couple times, get G, and remove it back to 0 grips showing. All right, I'm going to close this section 6 video out. And hopefully this will tie in well to the beginning of section 7 on an older video. Hope this is helpful and adds a little more clarity with the red bolt.